Shravya from KRM Public School. Now we are going to see about NCF 2020 approach to language and literacy. Let's see. Literacy. What is literacy? Literacy is the ability to understand and evaluate meaning through writing, listening, speaking, viewing, active creating, and overall it is representing. According to NCF 2020, language education is to ensure that the children learn language in such a way so as to optimize learning and communication skills, social, economic, and emotional skills during this earlier years throughout the years. Next, we are going to see about principles. Children learn spoken language rapidly in the years 0 to 8 years. While spoken language comes naturally to the children than written language, thus the concept of reading and writing must be learned. Next, aims of education. To support language development in each and every children, NCF has aimed in language represent to new situations flexibly and creatively to empower all the children to learn. Next, we come to see about the objectives. According to NCF 2020-2022, the child's mother tongue also encourages the proficiency in English. This is possible only when learning builds on the sound language pedagogy. Sound language development is an important part of a child's development. Next, we are going to see what is multilingualism. Multilingualism, as shown in the picture, multilingualism means the ability to learn to use more than two languages. It is constitutions of the identity of a child, and a typical feature of Indian linguistic landscape must be used as resource. For example, Marathi-speaking father married to a Gujarati-speaking mother with a family living in Chennai, where the community language and a primary language of education in English. If the child goes to English medium school from a primary age, then the linguism will be the difference. Next, what is three-language formula? According to NCF 2020, the first language will be the mother tongue or the regional language. Second language is Hindi. It will be on the modern language, Indian language or English. In non-Hindi speaking states, it will be Hindi or English. Third is the third language. In Hindi speaking states, it will be English or modern language. Now I'll pass on to ma'am.
Thanks to all of you present here. Now language, I'm going to talk about language. Now what is language? Language is nothing but the principal method of human communication consisting of word used in structure and conversational way and conveyed by speech and gesture. Children develop effective communicative skills for day-to-day interaction to motherland. Now let's see what is according to NCF, that is A, M, P and G. That is approach, method, procedure and technique. Now first let's see what is approach. This approach is to theory about the nature of language and language learning that serves as a source of practice, principles and language teaching. Now when the child comes to approach us, the child will approach to us in the mother language only. Whatever the child speaks at home, the child will come and approach to us in the mother language only. So as we approach here to see, first we see based on experimental. How we do experimental? By doing activities in the classroom. Next, innovative, creativeness. How the child is going to do practical in his own way, his or her own way by creating new method. Evidence, whatever the child is doing, right or wrong. If it is wrong, we are going to correct. Next one is collaborative. Collaborative is together. The children join together and do the activity. Then user-centered, that is to focus. Now let's pass on to method. Now method is nothing but whichever we use in the classroom. Daily, every day what we use in the classroom. There is a lot of methods which we handle in the classroom, like using flashcards, models, so on. Now let's see what are the methods here. A method is a practical realization of approach. Method includes various procedures and techniques as part of the standard FET. Now, as I said, we use lot of flashcards in the classroom to build new words. We can tell them to use, give some standard alphabets, where we can ask the children to use small 2-letter words or 3-letter words. If that is the way they build up the learning skill, making new words, listening skill, everything comes under to it. Okay. Next comes procedure. Now, what are the procedure? Procedure is an order sequence of techniques. A procedure is a sequence which can be described in terms such as first you do this. First, what we are going to do in the class. First thing, we are not supposed to ask the children to do what we are going to do. First thing, what you going to do this. Then you do that in smaller way, little way, small, as the children can follow you very easily. And then in the bigger technique, as the children first, whatever you see, they will be watching you. They will watch and then they will get to know what you are doing. They grasp from what you are doing. Then they will listen carefully what you are teaching. Then the last way, they will be repeating whatever we say. Suppose in case we say the pronunciation of word in different way, the child will be continuing telling the same way of pronunciation only. However, you correct or me correct, they will not accept. Whatever the teacher tells, that only the children will be going on repeating. Next is technique. When we come to technique, we all have TV in our classrooms, which the children are very interested to see. Now, we are going to see what are the common things. A common technique when using video material is called silent viewing. What is silent viewing? Silent viewing is this. This is a way that the teacher plays the video without no sound. Silent viewing is a single activity rather than a sequence, and as such is a technique rather than a whole procedure. A term that is also used in discussion about the teaching model. As I said, we use lot of models. One way of model is using also technique without sound, so that the children will watch and then they will observe what they are doing, and they will be developing their own stories in their own language, mother language. Used to describe typical procedures, usually for teachers in training. Such models offer abstractions of these procedures designed to guide teaching practice. Next, the grammar translation method. That is, we know we use very simple way of teaching grammar. That is, once again, yes, the classical way of teaching. First way of classical way of teaching grammar. The classical way of teaching grammar is nothing but in ancient days, in olden days, before ancient days, what is that? The way of teaching was a classical way, that is, they were teaching in Greek and Latin. After that only the foreign language English has been taught in the method, in the classical way of teaching in India. That is called classical way of teaching. This method that has been used by language teachers for many years. At one time, it was called classical method, since it was first used in the teaching of the classical language. That is oldest teaching method of English in India. Latin and Greek. For example, when we are teaching grammar, as I said, we will be using small words like very easy to teach them 2-letter words and 3-letter words. When we say this, first then we say that, and slowly we come to a small word apple, and then we join together and say this is an apple. So this is very simple way of teaching grammar by using lot of models, flashcards, etc. Vocabulary is taught in the form of isolated word list. Isolated means what to say, that is confirmed words, like particular words. Okay. Elaborate explanation of grammar are always provided. Reading of difficult text is begun Early in the course of study, little attention is paid to content texts which are treated as exercise in grammatical analysis. So whatever we do, we tell the children to, we implement the children to keep on practicing. So that is called exercise, grammatical analysis. Audio-linguism. Audio-linguism methodology extends to the behaviorist model learning using the stimulus-response reinforcement model in attempt through continuous process of such positive reinforcement and engender good habit in language learners. Reinforcement means together, and same way engender also it becomes like that only. Then audio-linguism really heavily on drills like substitutions to form these habits. Habits forming drills have remained popular among teachers and students and teachers who feel confident with linguistic recitation of school procedure. Then comes triple P. What is triple P? Triple P means nothing but presentation, practice and production. Presentation, practice and production. A variation of an audio-linguism in British-based teaching and else, whereas procedure most often refer to triple P, which stands for presentation, practice and production. In this procedure, first the teacher presents target structure of lesson, that is example, present simple way. Whichever you present to the child, you come to the class, before coming to class, we see how to present a topic to the children, how to implement the topic, the content what it is to the children in simple way. In this procedure, the teacher introduces the situation which contextualize the language to be taught. The students now practice the language using accurate reproduction techniques such as oral repetition. Oral repetition means chorus together. We make oral in the class, right? Same way, oral repetition means together, all children together. Individual repetition and cue response drills. Then comes the triple P procedure came under the subject attack in. Michael Lewis suggested that triple P was inadequate because reflected neither the nature of language nor nature of learning. In this, nature of language and the nature of language, both are same. The way you going to implement to the children, how you going to say nature of language, that should be in nature of learning. First it can be happen in the mother language. Jim Trevino advanced what is perhaps the most worrying aspect of triple P, the fact that it only describes one kind of lesson. It is inadequate as a general proposal concerning approaches to language in the classroom. Second stage, that is learner practice the target structures in controlled way. For example, by doing gap, that is filling the activities. Next comes, in response to this criticism, many people have offered variations of triple P and alternative to it, ARC, OHE, ESA. Now, in the third stage, we are going to see the learner practice more freely. That is example conversation using target structure, but possibly by other language too. When we are doing practice, we cannot do in the mother language itself always. First time we will be doing with the mother language. Next, slowly we have to implement the language also to the children to do the language practice also. Now comes ARC. Put forward by Jim Trevino, stands for authentic use, restricted and clarification and focus. ARC is nothing but authentic use, restricted and clarification and focus. Communicative activity will demonstrate authentic use, elected dialogue or guided. Writing will provoke restricted use of language by students. Finally, clarification language is that which the teacher and the student use to explain grammar, give example, analyze errors, elect and repeat things. As we do grammar things, we'll be analyzing what the children are doing. Usually we make grammatical mistake. Children used to make grammatical mistake, which we can give few examples, more examples, and we can analyze their errors. Then comes OHE of triple N. Michael Lewis is a claim that students should be allowed to observe. First thing, you should let the children to observe and then read or listen to the language. Whatever it is, we must let the children to observe what they are doing. And then we can ask them to read and then we can listen to the language. We can give more importance to the language also than the mother language, which will then provoke them to hypothesize about how the language works before going to experimental on the basis of hypothesis. Now comes ESA. The stages of ESA are roughly equivalent to triple P. What we have been said: presentation, practice, and production. It is similar to ESA is similar to triple P. The stage of ESA are roughly equivalent to triple P, though ESA is slightly different in that it is designed to allow movement back and forth between the stages. However, each stage is similar to triple P stages in the same order. Thank you.
The topic is about approach to language development and literacy Tamil. As we all know, the child is comfortable with their own mother tongue. As a part of Tamil Nadu, Tamil language has been introduced in national curriculum frame. In addition to that, we should teach our children state language also. I am here to share how a new language is introduced in school to read and write. Young children learn and grasp non-trivial concepts most quickly and deeply in their home language, mother tongue, familiar language. Young children learn and grasp significant concepts quickly in their mother tongue. And we have language elements too. They are phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, pragmatics. What is phonetics? Phonetics is a letter sounds and phonology is speech and sounds constitutes the fundamental components of a language, and morphology is particular form of things. For example, we can have shapes, colors, etc. And syntax is the arrangement of words and phrases to create a sentences. And semantics, study of meaning in language, which means meaning of words and sentences. And pragmatics is dealing with the things sensibly. And next is not only for communication but also social and cultural uses to signify group identity and social stratification, and for social grooming and entertainment. The language is used. Next, how do we introduce the Tamil language to read and write? First, we will introduce the letters in Tamil. Tamil alphabets we have vowels 12, consonants 18 and one special character. In Tamil we will say Veerezhuthukal 12, that is R to out and Aidezhuthu 100. And we have consonants 18, which means Meiyezhuthukal Ikku to In 18 and Uyirmei Ezhuthukal Ka to Na 18. This is the initial stage of learning the language Tamil, and with the help of the Tamil alphabet, the child is able to read and write. Next comes the other ways to introduce the Tamil language while singing rhymes, enacting and narrating the stories, general conversation and also picture readings. For rhymes, we can use these kinds of flashcards. For rhymes, we can use these kinds of flashcards so that the children will learn easily the rhymes also. And next we have for story, we can use these kinds of flashcards like sequence. We can arrange in a sequence and we can say the story to the children so that the listening and speaking skills will be developed. And for picture reading, we can show the flashcard like this. See, we have Parangal, Pookal, like these kinds of flashcards also we can introduce to the children so that they can easily observe the pictures. And next, we have LSRW in Tamil language. LSRW is important for Tamil language also. First, listening. Listening, ability to decode the meaning of an audio string. We can use audio visual aids for the listening skills. And next is speaking. Ability to encode thoughts and concepts into an oral form. As I said before, we can use the flashcards for the storytelling in a sequence. And next we have reading. Reading. Starting with identification of pictures, children learn words for reading. For example, I showed you before, we can show the picture reading so that the children can see the picture and they can say the picture, they can read. And next we have writing. Ability to encode the thoughts and concept into written form. Initially, tracing, strokes and letters can be practiced for writing skills. And next is, we can teach the Tamil language by using the playway methods also. Playway methods helps to develop the language like reading, speaking, listening, thinking, creative, social, vocabulary building, grammar, imperative sentences. And next comes grammar. In the initial stages, simple sentences can be introduced and later teach them complex sentences. And next we have social and emotional skills. Social and emotional skills also improve by conducting some group activities, celebrations, sports diplomacy, awareness campaign, etc. And finally, we have a conclusion. Children who start learning a foreign language, as soon they start with their primary education, have got better prospects for their future in areas beyond just communication. Compared to children who start later, they are more likely become highly proficient in their language. Thank you.
Giving the topic approach to language development and literacy. As you know that not only the regional language is important, but the overall national language is also important. So here I am going to talk about the Hindi language, which is one of the official languages used in all over India. So here Hindi language. Language is the process and practice of teaching a new language. It teaches to speak and describe the new language. The objective of language is to bring the language to the learners. How the learner is accepting that particular language, in that way only we have to teach the language. It's not only that the person doesn't know Hindi that I should leave off, no. I have to teach in such a way that the person accepts that language and go ahead with the other language also. Learner in these settings are to have a sound knowledge of the language. I am here to introduce a new language, Hindi. So बच्चे अपनी मातृभाषा से परिचित तो रहते ही हैं. When they are entering into the school, they know their mother tongue. But जब स्कूल में दाखिल होते हैं तभी उन्हें दूसरी भाषाओं का ज्ञान होता है. जैसे दूसरी भाषा यानी कि तमिलनाडु में दूसरी भाषा आके हिंदी है और तमिल तो पहले से वो घर से पढ़ के आते हैं. But being a national, we have other two language also in here wherever we go. But still, the children learns a different language in the school. Young children can learn and observe the language very easily because their growth of the mind is between 0 to 8 years. So the any language, whichever you implement to them, they will easily learn and go ahead with that language, because their friend circles also, they learn so many languages. So it is better to introduce the 3 language system in the schooling itself. Along with this new language Hindi, we also use the language that they are familiar with. For example, in the Andhra Pradesh they use Telugu, in Karnataka they use Kannada. So it's very important for them to know their own native language, and apart from that they should know the other languages also. So भाषा ज्ञान, भाषा तत्व आगे यानी कि main elements of the language. भाषा तत्व, language elements. So what are the language elements are? जैसे कि ध्वनि यानी कि sound. The person hears the sound first and then only they learn the language. Without sound, like basically the sound is there only, they will observe and then they will present themselves. Then next is Akriti Vigyan. Akriti Vigyan means they know the shape and how to build the language, how to build the vocabulary. That is the second thing. So with the help of many other things, with the help of many images, we can put this, and with the help of audio vision, we can do them to learn the listening part. So unless and until they are thorough with the listening, they will not able to learn the new language. So first basic thing is sound. So sound is more important for any language to be observed. So जब बच्चों को चित्र when we are introducing a new language, it's better to introduce a new language with a picturized form, because when they are able to identify the picture, they will able to learn the language very easily, because they will be familiar in their own native language what is that particular picture is. So when they know what is the picture, then it is easy for us to put a new language for the same thing. For example, if it is apple, they know what apple is a common word which is used all over India as an apple only, but mango, they will know what is pronounced in Tamil as a mango, maambadam. Then when you say, show the picture, they will tell immediately what is that. Then after that, when we say, wo aam hai, so it is easy for them to know, okay, mango means aam, because it is easy for them to identify. So picture reading is very, very important for once the language has to be introduced. So जब बच्चे चित्र पहचान पाएंगे, तब उन्हें हमें स्वर का ज्ञान आसानी से दे पाएंगे. अक्षरों का ज्ञान बहुत ही आसानी से बच्चों में आ जाएगा. अगर पिक्चर नहीं पहचान पाए तो अक्षरों के ज्ञान में भी मुश्किल होगी उनको. So जब बच्चे चित्र और अक्षरों की ध्वनि से परिचित हो जाए, लेकिन कुछ बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं जिन्हें चित्र और लेटर्स को आइडेंटिफाई करने में बहुत मुश्किल होती है, तब हम उन्हें कुछ इस तरह का TLR भी दिखा सकते हैं, जिससे वो TLR या कुछ रियल ऑब्जेक्ट भी लाके हम उन्हें छूने के लिए दिए तो दे कैन टच एंड फील एंड कैन सी व्हाट इज द रियल ऑब्जेक्ट इज, द शेप ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट्स. व्हेन दे टच दे विल लर्न इन अ बेटर मैनर. सो आकार सब हमें उन्हें छू के बताने से आसानी से उन्हें समझ आ जाएगा, और इसके आगे हम उन्हें भाषा का ज्ञान आसानी से उनके अंदर डाल पाएंगे. सो we can enhance like this kind of a picture. If we give them, it is very easy for them to know the language. So after that we can introduce some children, even though they won't understand in a spoken way, that time we can introduce in a rhyming way also the new language. If I want to show a new things, like if I show this in their hand, they will know what is there in their own language, and either in English also they might be knowing. They will don't know in other language. So when we show something, they will touch and they will retain in their mind what is that particular in a Hindi. Kulladi. If I say kulladi and if I show this object, that will retain in their mind for a longer time. And when they touch the things also, that will also retain for them in a longer time. इसके अलावा हम बच्चों को कई और प्रकार से भी उन्हें हम सिखा सकते हैं, जैसे कि प्ले वे मेथड, खेलने के तरीके से. खेल में बच्चे बहुत ही आसानी से सीख पाते हैं. बहुत आसान तरीका है खेल. आप खेल में उन्हें 10 बार रिपीट कराओगे एक वर्ड को तो भी वो आसानी से करेंगे. और यही अगर आप कक्षा में उन्हें खड़ा रखिए, बोलो तो दे विल नॉट रिपीट. दे विल रिपीट ओनली थ्रू द प्ले वे मेथड. उससे उनमें बोलने की, सुनने की और लिखने पढ़ने की क्षमता भी आसानी से बढ़ जाएगी, और हमें ज़्यादा काम करना भी नहीं पड़ेगा. उससे आसानी से उनके अंदर रिटेन रहेगा. हमें बार बार दोहराने से उनके दिमाग में जो रिटेन हो जाएगा वो हमेशा के लिए रहेगा. जो LKG में राइम्स पढ़ाते हैं वो उन्हें 10th स्टैंडर्ड में भी आप पूछो तो उन्हें आसानी से पता रहता है कि क्या राइम्स हम लोगों ने LKG में पढ़ा है, क्योंकि हम लोगों ने उनको इतना पिक्चराइज वे में बताया कि वो अपनी लाइफ लॉन्ग नहीं भूलेंगे. सो दैट इज द बेटर वे फॉर अस टू शो देम बाय प्ले वे मेथड इन, सो दैट विल हेल्प देम टू लर्न एंड अ बेटर वे. सो जिससे उन्हें बोलने, सुनने, लिखने, पढ़ने की सहायता मिलती है. ना केवल खेल से भाषा का ज्ञान मिलता है, बल्कि शिक्षकों और बच्चों के बीच में एक गहरा संबंध बन जाता है, जिससे उन जो LKG की टीचर्स रहती है, अगर आप उन बच्चों को 10th में भी देखोगे तो अभी तक उन्हें याद रखते हैं, क्योंकि उनका गहरा संबंध इस प्रकार का रहता है कि वो कभी नहीं छूटता है. अगर आपको भी शायद पता होगा कि आपके LKG टीचर्स का नाम क्या है, आई होप सबको पता रहेगा. इसलिए जब भी हम कुछ सिखाते हैं उन्हें अच्छे से, इतने प्यार से सिखाना चाहिए कि उस अपनी ज़िंदगी भर ना भूल पाए. So play consists of response for pure measure, and similarly the preschool play method of considered the most fun and effective methodology, because खेलने से ही, खेल में जो सीखा हुआ रहता है वो एक तो फन भी रहता है उनके लिए और उन्हें आसानी से आजीवन के लिए याद भी रहता है. क्योंकि हम लोग अल्फाबेट तो अपनी छोटी कक्षा में पढ़ते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग यूज़ उन्हें 12वीं कॉलेज तक भी वही अल्फाबेट यूज़ करते हैं. सो इसीलिए हमेशा प्ले वे मेथड ही हमें भाषा का ज्ञान अच्छी तरह से दे सकता है. सो भाषा का ज्ञान ना केवल इन चंद स्क्रीन से या किसी प्ले वे मेथड नहीं, उन्हें और गहरा करने के लिए हमें व्याकरण की बहुत ज़्यादा आवश्यकता है. बिना व्याकरण के हम कोई भी भाषा को अच्छी तरह से नहीं सीख पाएंगे. So व्याकरण is nothing but it's a grammar. Without grammar, the language will be incomplete. If we want to learn a complete language, it is basically very important for us to know the grammar part also. So हिंदी भाषा को ज्ञान मजबूत करने के लिए हमें व्याकरण की भी आवश्यकता है, जिससे उनका उच्चारण, उनके लिए वाक्य बनाना और बहुत ही आसान हो जाएगा. वो अपनी एक स्टोरी भी लिख पाएंगे, एक लेख लिखने को बोलेंगे तो वो भी लिख पाएंगे ग्रामर की मदद से, व्याकरण की मदद से वो लिख पाएंगे. एंड लास्ट, ना केवल भाषा से उनकी पढ़ाई और लिखाई में ही मदद मिलेगी, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. भाषा आने से वो किसी भी कोने की, किसी भी स्टेट में जाए तो भाषा की वजह से वो सबका दिल जीत सकते हैं और सबके कल्चर को अपना पाएंगे, और इसी वजह से भाषा ही सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है. So the language that we speak influence over culture identities and our social realities. We can adapt to different culture contents by changing our communication. If I am staying in Chennai, if I go to Andhra or if I go to Karnataka, if I know Hindi or their native language, I can adapt very easily that particular surroundings and I can make very easily maximum friends. So being our country a multilingual and multicultural, learning an adult language is an advantage for us. So thank you once for all, and back to Divya Miss.
2020, a wonderful policy which clearly indicates the development of students' future education system. Overall, I concluded that NEP 2020 will be the best for the development of education system in India. Thank you.